Welcome back to Istanbul Park for the Turkish Grand Prix, and history has been made. Yes, Lewis Hamilton has done it. He's won his 7th championship title, equaling the great Michael Schumacher, which makes him a GOAT himself. That makes him a great. Now, to talk more on this, we will be heading over to London to speak to the Formula One journalist Rachel Downey, and we'll also get an update from our very own Adil Halim. But right now, I'm joined by the Formula One expert and my best friend this weekend, Jason Tahinjoli. Now, Jason, we've watched it from the off. It's all been so emotional.
Well, it has been, because, I mean, will he become champion this weekend? Will he not? Obviously, he's got a huge chance of becoming champion at the end of this year, because there's such a big gap now when you think about it. It's basically, so he has to do a lot wrong not to become champion, which obviously none of that matters now. He is a champion now. We've witnessed it. And thinking of that, in addition, like, how much chaos has happened this weekend, and we've still seen Lewis become a champion.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, we'll hear more from Rachel Downey a little later on Lewis Hamilton. But right now, we're going to delve into the history of the boy from Stevenage.
Lewis Hamilton is in dreamland. The Mercedes star is now one step closer to being F1's most successful driver. The British racer made his debut in 2007 and narrowly missed out on being the sport's first ever rookie champion by a single point. A year later, he won his first ever title with McLaren. But Hamilton switched teams in 2013. Many saw the move as a risky decision. Hamilton joined Mercedes, which were unproven, having only been back in the sport for 3 years, and in that time, they'd only won a single race. But that was about to change. In his second season with the Silver Arrows, Lewis Hamilton became a world champion for the second time in his career. Hamilton won 11 races and beat teammate Nico Rosberg in the final Grand Prix of the season to clinch the 2014 driver's title. Lewis Hamilton was the first champion Mercedes had produced since 1955, and that winning feeling was here to stay. Another title followed in 2015. For the last 4 years, the Mercedes driver has dominated the sport. And now, his latest championship win puts him at the very top of sport's great names. The Turkish Grand Prix will forever be remembered as the moment Lewis Hamilton equaled Michael Schumacher's record of 7 world titles. But with more races won than any other driver in history, and more perhaps on the way, it might be time to start calling this man the greatest of all time. Lance Santos, TRT World.
Beautiful report from Lance Santos there. So, Jason, can we call him the greatest of all time?
Well, I think statistically, yes. I mean, on paper, he is the greatest of all time, and I think we should start appreciating the fact that he has won the most races, equaled Schumacher's record. He has a lot of podiums, a lot of wins and everything. So, yeah, I think it's fair to say that he is one of the greatest of all time. And, yeah, I mean, like, as Lance said, we have witnessed a lot this weekend.
Yeah.
We witnessed him become the champion. We witnessed Stroll having a pole position. We witnessed the Ferraris at least being up there. So what an eventful weekend. And again, this has been the 8th race we've hosted in Turkey, and every one of them has been eventful like this.
So every single one has had an iconic moment.
Exactly, yes. And again, now we've had a few. So aren't we just lucky?
I think we're incredibly lucky, because look at what's going on behind us. We've got a beautiful rainbow. It's just absolute perfection.
Is that hope? Is it hope?
It's hope, it's everything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good luck, it's hope, it's everything. But right now, we are going to throw over to London and speak to Rachel Downey, who's been watching it. She's been with us all weekend as well. Rachel, what does it mean for Lewis Hamilton to win 7 championship titles?
Oh, it's just incredible. You could hear the emotion in his voice. You could hear, he broke down in tears as soon as he won. This is someone that, what a way to win. And it showed the quality of this champion, of this driver. This is a masterclass in how you win a world title and how you become the 7th world champion. this is a driver. I've used this as well on my social media. You know, the man from Stevenage becomes the most successful Formula One driver of all time. But this is someone who grafts. He is such a hungry driver. It means so much to him. And Mercedes is the perfect team for him to clinch this title, and it shows you what he's capable of doing. And the great thing with Mercedes is, and you hear it throughout, there is no blame game. They support each other. They're champions, and it's this has been one of the best races I've seen in Formula One for a very, very long time. It's been so unpredictable. There were 4 different leaders in the first 12 laps. Like, this is a race where he's done this before. You start 6th, he wins. He has done this, but everything, was challenging him today, and he did it. And he could have changed the tyres, he could have pitted as he was told to come in and pit, and he didn't, because he knows his car, he knows his capabilities. And this race this weekend tested all of the drivers. It was a safe race at the end. Luckily, nothing big happened, but it was just incredible. And I think it's moved everybody. We use the word GOAT, and yeah, of course, I think he's going to go on, and we're going to see so many more amazing things from Lewis Hamilton. And so far, he's just the legacy that not only is he going to leave behind, but the legacy that he has created right now it's just wonderful. And I got really emotional at the end when you could feel the pride and how he said, dream the impossible, and it's true. He dreamt about this. As he said, secretly, when you could see Schumacher go on and win the titles, I dreamt about this. And look what he's achieved. And he's still young, I think he's got so many more things up his sleeve for this incredible, unpredictable race, that sheer dominance that he showed. I'm so proud. I am.
I can hear it in your voice. It's just a beautiful moment for Formula One fans, for people who aren't even the biggest motorsport fan as well. It's just a great thing to see, a great bit of history to see. I just want to pick up on something that you mentioned about Mercedes and Lewis being a family and how well they work together. I mean, are we saying that we're going to see number 8 and he's going to stay with that team?
I think he is. I know he hasn't said it. And I know he has very publicly said,
he's alluded to it a little bit. He's very elusive, but yeah.
He will. He has a wonderful relationship with Toto Wolff. Toto Wolff is very loyal to be honest, to young drivers, and is very loyal, therefore, to Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton is very loyal to Mercedes, and they work beautifully together. They really do. And the thing is, and I said before, with Mercedes, they work like champions. They are I love this sentence, a well-oiled rig. They are a machine, even down to like the catering. They are so professional. They're open as a team. You can, talk to them, you can get certain information from them, but at the same time, they all speak like champions. Hamilton will stay with Mercedes next year. You'll see him for a while, Mercedes. And when there is a mistake within the team, if an engineer makes a mistake, they immediately hold their hands up, say, yes, this is what we did wrong, let's move forward. This is how we can rectify that for next time. They're wonderful. And as you can see there, like Nico Rosberg put a tweet out as well, congratulating Hamilton. So many, I think Rio Ferdinand put tweets. So many people have put tweets out congratulating Hamilton. And you can guarantee people will still say, oh, it's down to the car, it's down to this. But what he did today in Istanbul was incredible. And it's also reignited F1 again. And I think we're going to get more fans as well coming and being part of this F1 journey. It's brilliant. I loved it. Great weekend.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. And it all happened in Istanbul. Rachel Downey, thank you so much for today, for your contribution over the weekend. We'll speak to you very soon on Beyond the Game as well. Let's just head back to Jason Tanjolu. Jason, you just listened to Rachel there. She said that they worked like champions. And I think that's the perfect way to describe all of it. It's not just Lewis, it's not just Toto Wolff, it's everybody, it's the constructors, it's everybody behind the scenes.
I mean, obviously, we only see Lewis and Bottas and the two basically Mercedes cars going around the circuit. But again, as you said, there's a huge team behind them. We only, again, see them two, then the pit crew, and then there's probably about...
For a few seconds. And then,
and there's about another 200, 300 people at the factory working for these two cars to actually win races. And can you imagine the amount of work, dedication, and basically technological innovation goes on for this to happen? And each one of them, even probably the person who is in charge of the least important component of the car, when they see that car winning, they appreciate it, and the drivers appreciate it as well. And that's what makes a difference most, and that's what matters the most as well when you think about it.
Indeed. Right, let's bring in our reporter, Adel Halim, who's live in Istanbul for us as well. Adel, again, you've watched it from beginning to end. You've been a big part of this weekend. How did we get to this point How did we get to this point where we're sitting here, Turkish Grand Prix in 2020, when basically the rule book has been thrown out the window?
Sam, I don't think it can be said enough. What an incredible weekend this has been. The irony is we're here because of the coronavirus pandemic. That has turned the F1 season upside down. Many races had to drop out. Many tracks had to drop out. Originally, there was 22 races planned, a record-setting number planned. It ultimately dropped to 17, the lowest since 2009. But enter Istanbul Park, a tried and tested track. It's been here before. 2005 was the first time, all the way to 2011. So it has plenty of experience doing such a thing. Now, what's incredible is it was a decade ago when Lewis Hamilton won his first Turkish Grand Prix in 2010. So fast forward 10 years later, and now he's a 7-time world champion. And when the announcement was made that Istanbul Park was going to return, there was excitement all around, from the drivers, from fans. Everybody wanted to see this, and it delivered this weekend. Now, and it should be important to mention that throughout all of this, the Turkish presidency has supported and encouraged this deal to get done. Sam?
Adel Halim in Istanbul, thank you very much. We'll see you again on Beyond the Game next week. And back to us, Jason. Back to a perfect ending, perfect rainbow, everything. It's just a beautiful end, or a beautiful way to end the weekend. What's been your highlight?
I mean, I cannot not mention Lewis Hamilton's performance in the race. I mean, he was so down with the car's performance because he didn't know what was happening with the setup, and he had no feeling. But in the race, he just came alive, and we was just basically seeing what was happening around him, what the other cars were doing, talking, finding strategies, feeling the car, getting grips of it. And in the end, he knew when to maintain his tires, he knew when to compose himself, and he knew when to attack as well. And he attacked, and when he attacks, he attacks. We saw
that live.
I know.
We saw that live happening.
So we saw again another Lewis Hamilton domination in terms of racecraft, especially against his teammate. And again, I mean, I cannot just stop mentioning this, but it was just so many surprises, and it was just so many highlights. The fact that Stroll was leading, and then we have Perez in second.
He was dominant. I mean, he had. I mean, just listening to him at the end of the race, he was heartbroken. He said, "Look, it comes down to Sunday. The points are on Sunday, so he didn't care what happened in qualifying."
It's like experience won against talent. I think so. So the youth basically did struggle against the older ones, and it was a clear example of that.
But their time will come.
Exactly.
Jason will be back in the next hour. We'll be in the next hour just having, I suppose, a conclusion from an amazing weekend. So we'll see you then.